Hello and welcome to another race weekend with Liga Virtual F1. It is the World Touring Car Championship, and we're here at Macau. Now, this is a circuit, if you don't know it at all for some weird reason, it's a circuit that always provides some controversy. It's a very tight street circuit with some very tight corners, some very fast sections of track. And to make matters worse, it's all getting very, very hot in the championship standings. Now, on the championship, we have teams and we have drivers. In terms of teams, if Sadbomb's GSR Racing don't have a win and they can't also get a podium this weekend, then Fun Labrada may have just won the championship. Again, if they win, they're in for a very strong chance at the final race in Abu Dhabi. Now, in terms of drivers, we have two drivers left fighting for the overall win. Carlos Fenner is ahead on 191, but right behind is Adrian Jimenez on 174 points. So that is getting extremely, extremely tight. Now, the top speed at this circuit is 266 kilometers an hour. So Fenner and Jimenez will be trying to get in each other's draft to try and put each other off into the braking zones because, like I said, there's some very slow corners. And Wtcc HD will be trying to help his teammate as well. A quick lap around here is about 2 minutes 18. We've seen a 2 minute 15, but we're not expecting to see them in terms of race pace. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very exciting day of racing. Now, looking at the timing boards, we've got quite a few drivers on circuit already. They are circulating, getting warmed up, getting ready for the race. They'll be warming up for a little while between each session. Not too long, but we're just going into a qualifying session, I believe, right now. But I'm not sure if we're going to have the intro video because the count. So if we do get that, I will let you know before it goes on. And in terms of laps, we have a few drivers out there on an out lap at the moment. I wonder whether we're going to flick to a driver to see what kind of pace they're putting out right now, as we're just looking at a section of circuit. I'm not entirely sure which part this is. It does look a bit like the reservoir corner just after the start finish straight there. And again, from Reservoir, you've got a very long straight down to Hotel Mandarin, which is a very fast corner. And here we are, we have car number 19 returning to the pits. So Ivanhoe not feeling like setting a lap that time around. Unfortunately, we will be a driver short today. David Baroni has had a wheel cable break, so he won't be able to join us today. But I do believe we will still have a good number of drivers on. We've got 11 on server at the moment. We're expecting a couple more to join. And here is car number 7 for the HLZ racing team. That is Boba Ganush, who you saw for the first time. If you saw the highlights reel from Road Atlanta, first time out, did quite well for the HLZ team. But again, it's a difficult circuit. So we've got a checkered flag there. That might be the end of the warm-up. So, yeah, that's end of practice. And, of course, we will go through to an intro video next. We are a few minutes behind schedule, but we're not doing too bad. In terms of schedule, intro should have been 5 minutes to, but we're just ending this session now. Qualifying was scheduled for 11, with the warm-up being 11:15, so 15 minutes of qualifying, and then you would have had a small warm-up, 5-minute warm-up session before race 1 at 20 past. And then after the first race, we have a 5-minute warm-up session again, scheduled for about 11:40, but that all depends on the race itself. Race 2 was scheduled for 11:45, and that is the longer race, and that is scheduled to finish around about 10 past 12, after which we'll have a few ads while we gather some drivers into the commentary booth, and we will find out how the drivers found this circuit, how they found their racing, and how they feel going into the final race. So yeah, we are waiting for this session to scroll over. I'm not sure whether we are going to have the intro. Um, but yeah, it's really exciting at the top, and even further down, there are still battles to be settled. Moretti, Ivan, Fran Vinal, Rodriguez, Asiite, they're all in a similar area of points. Cabeza Speed and Danio 1 have shown some serious pace in that Honda just lately. Cabeza Speed's down in ninth, so getting onto the back of Asiite, Moretti, and Rodriguez. But Danio 1's in fourth on 107. So he's only like 25 points behind Hazetti HD, so a battle could ensue for third place. That said, Hazetti HD is 48 points behind Jimenez, so if Jimenez has an awful race and hands the championship to Carlos Feno, that could bring Jimenez and Hazetti HD into a bit of a battle of their own. So we're seeing qualifying has started. We're looking at a few of the cars on circuit. So we've got Ivan out there. We have Danny out there. We have Cabeza Speed out there. Who else is going around at the moment? I believe everybody is. I don't think we've got anybody still in the pits. So I'll be trying to get an outlap. We're on with Adrian Jimenez at the moment. And that is a bit of a pack coming down towards the tight and twisty section of the circuit. We're looking out for Melco Hairpin. As you know, Melco Hairpin in recent years has been permanent yellow, so you can't overtake there anymore. But this is our Factor 2. We don't have live race direction, so there might not be yellows there, and we might be able to get some overtakes into Melco Hairpin, which, as you know, is drama at Melco Hairpin. That is the place where all the action used to happen. So we're on outlaps at the moment. As you can see, we've got one driver still in the pits. Disappointment has not come out onto circuit yet. Maybe waiting for a little bit of space. You don't want to be bunched up like they are at the moment, as Jimenez just decides to get in front of the Kamikaze Racing driver, and Ivan will be trying to follow Jimenez as best as he can to try and get a decent lap time and get a decent qualifying session done. Don't forget, in this first race, the top 8, I believe, are reversed. So it will not be the qualifying pole sitter at the front of the grid. As we see Melco Hairpin, you see that wide sweeping line. We don't get to see much of the hairpin with that camera shot, but it is a fantastic corner leading in to a very fast part of the track as you come down Black Sands. And then you've got the final corner labelled R. It's just called R. And we're coming down towards Reservoir right now. It's a fast left-hander, and Jimenez is going to show us a lap. So here we are. We're still on the throttle. Oh, apologies. We're on with Hazetti HD. I did miss that. So here we go. Coming down towards Hotel Mandarin. Again, it's flat, or it should be flat. Maybe a little lift if you're not brave enough. And then we'll come all the way down to Hotel Lisboa, where it is a steep braking zone. It's not a very tight corner, but you are traveling at such a rate, 266 kilometers an hour. Just a little kiss on the wall there as we look towards Francisco Hill. And then we'll come down this twisty section of track towards the next tight corner, which is Maternity. So we'll have a little bit of a chink here and there, bit of a right, and then a bit of a left, and then braking zone as we kiss the wall again into Maternity right now. And then the next left-hander is Teddy Yip. Again, we're expecting to see some overtakes here. You can get alongside for quite a while as we come through the Solitude S's now. And then it's a short little run through some more chinks left and right into Payol, which again will be a braking zone, another opportunity to overtake. And then a few more lefts and rights, full throttle, all the way down to Police before you've got to worry about braking. And then we've got Moorish right after it. You can see at the top of the hill there. And then that sends you down into Donna Maria. Oh, we just kissed the apex there. So Hazetti HD not on a perfect lap, but it should still be a decent time nonetheless. We've got 2 purple sectors because we are the first to set some sector times. Nobody's beat them just yet, though. So now we are on the run down to Melco Hairpin. And it is a very, very slow, very tight corner that drops down the hill through Black Sands now. and then you've got Fisherman's coming up. And again, this is where you start to reel the car up, get it pumped, and get some speed. So now, start finish straight. What is this lap going to be? 2:15 was the best we've seen so far. This is looking quite good. This is looking very good. There we are, coming down. Not going to be a 2:15, but is it going to be a 2:18? I don't have the time at the moment. No, 2:7. Wow. Wow, Hossetti HD did 2:20, but Danny 01's done a 2:16.492. 2:16.492. It's only this morning that we saw a 2:15 set. Up until then, it was 2:18. So Danny 01 has done a very, very good time. Adrian Jimenez now goes even faster. New lap record for these guys at Macau, 2:14.563, set by Adrian Jimenez. As we're watching Cabeza Speed come across the line, is that a 2:16.0? Nope, it's a 2:16.8. 2:16.843. I do apologise, my screen is a little fuzzy at the moment. I'm hoping that does sort itself out. But Jimenez on pole with a stunning lap. We've not seen a lap yet from Fenno. We've not seen a lap from Disappointment, and we've not seen a lap from Baba Ganoush. But it's looking very, very likely that Jimenez, for the Fulham-Brada team, might be getting the pole spot, unless anybody else can do anything about it. So Cabeza Speed, you know, he is doing very, very well in that Honda. Danny 01 doing very, very well in that Honda. Could this be another circuit that plays to the hands of the Hondas? The short wheelbase cars, front wheel drive, very, very pointy, on the brakes, late into the corners. Could these guys have an advantage over the rest of the field here? Because Danny 01 is in second. Don't forget, 2:16.492, very quick time. And Cabeza Speed, 2:16.8, sitting in third place right now. X-Jazzy, another Honda driver, 2:17.0. Disappointment now sets a lap, 2:17.2. And then we have Asiite, 2:17.3. Ivanhoe, 2:17.9. Hossetti HD, as you saw, bit of a scruffy lap, hitting a few walls, kissing a few barriers, 2:20. So time to come from Hossetti HD there for sure. And we're still waiting for a lap time from Carlos Fenny and Bobby Ganushi, but Munkaski has set a time of 2:21. Now, Cabeza Speed, yellow in the first sector, green in the second. Green means he's set his personal best. Yellow means he's gone slightly slower. So this third sector could be an all-important factor in where Cabeza Speed starts. We've still got 7.5 minutes, but it is a long lap. And here we go. Final corner now. Coming through Fisherman's. Careful of the barriers. Look for the start-finish gantry. Take the shortest line down there. This is looking quick. It's looking very quick. And I believe that was a 2:17.0. So Cabeza Speed. A little bit slower that time out, but I've got a feeling he knows where to find the time. So we're on board with Carlos Fenno now. Target time, 2:14.563, set by Adrian Jimenez. Fenno needs to beat the Fulham-Brada cars in order to keep his team in with a shot. It's green that first sector, so personal best, but it's not purple. Purple would mean he's in with a shot for pole. However, that doesn't mean he can't get other purple sectors. So we're just watching him just barely kissing a wall there, combing around the lap, kissing another wall on the brakes. That might help him slow down but unsettle the car, and using these barriers just to keep the car nice and straight. And we're coming up to the top of the track here, and then it's a run all the way through Police and Moorish up towards Melco hairpin. So another green sector, so it might not be a pole lap, but it might push him up there anyway. So Melco, is this where I can find some time? That seemed to be quite slow for Fenno. So this might not be a pole lap, it might be all about the next lap. We've only got 6 minutes. So if he stays out there, he might get another 3 laps in. If he doesn't stay out there, he might only get one other shot. Because it is, when you're doing an out lap, it is about a 2:30 lap with a 2:15. flying lap, and this is looking quite good down to Fisherman. So this comes through, and I believe Jimenez is going faster still. He's done a purple first sector, 41.842 there. So Carlos Feno takes second place, 2:15.774. We saw 2:15s earlier today. The 2:14s kind of come out of nowhere, but Jimenez doing very well. Danny 01 now coming up to the line. He wants to take that third place back where Asiite has got himself up into, and he does better than that. He's taken second place, 2:15.149. It is all heating up right now. So Adrian Jimenez still with that stunning pole time. We have Danny 01 in second, Carlos Feno in third, Asiite is in fourth, and Ivan is on a lap right now. 2 green sectors, so he's going well. He's going well. Maybe not challenging Jimenez, but second down, it's a bit of a fight, and we know that Ivan has pace. He has some real pace. Currently sitting in 8th with the 2:17.9, going faster right now. Where is this going to put him for this final sector? Coming up to the final corner as he comes around. I wish it had a longer name. I really do. I apologise. We're a little bit earlier than the circuit than that. That did look like the final corner. I was wrong. I do apologise. Nope, that was it. That was Reservoir. We were coming around there. So that puts Ivan in 6th place. Doesn't quite match the top times, but a 2:16.958 is not a bad time. We're looking at Smunkaski now. I'm still not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Someone will have to correct me at some point. With one final round left, I would love to be pronouncing it correctly. But as you can see, we've had a green first sector from Smunkaski. He's currently sat in 10th, so there is a chance to get himself up the order. Yellow in sector 2, though, not what he would have wanted. But we are sure that he can make some ground up as he comes over the line. That's a 2:21, and unfortunately leaves him in 10th place at the moment. So, time left on the clock. 3 minutes to go. As Munkaski's going to try and get another lap out there. He might just get around to the line to start a lap. Whether the server will let him finish, I do not know. And we have some chat on Twitch. Hi there, Shattered Horizons. It's not long to qualify at such a long track. And Jimenez, really, really good lap. But yeah, we did not expect to see a 2:14. We didn't expect to see a 2:15. But that all happened this morning. So thank you for joining. We hope you enjoy the stream. And we're just on board with Smunkaski at the moment on his outlap. We do have a few other drivers on circuit at the moment, but there's been no other upsets at the moment. Cabeza Speed is down in 5th. We did see him up there for the top 3 a little earlier on. He sat there on a 2:16.8, while his teammate has done a 2:15.1. So Cabeza Speed might have some gas in the tank to go for a faster time. Other than that, Asiite is currently in 4th place. We're not seeing Rodriguez on track. In fact, we're not seeing many of the larger teams putting many candidates out there. Adrian Jimenez in pole is on his own at the moment because Josete HD is currently down in 9th. Josete HD's obviously had a couple of fights with the barriers. We know that he's got pace. If he can pull that out of the bag, he might get himself up there. Danny 01, of course, has usually been there in contention for some really good points, but hasn't had all the luck. The one race where he was in an almighty pack battle, it all came unstuck just before the finish. So we're hoping for some good results for Danny 01 today. Cabeza Speed now coming down to the line, smashing that barrier on the left. But that was of purple sector 1, green sector 2, and that is a 2:16.705. Yes, 2:16.705. So that's not bad at all. It is an improvement on his time, but he's still in 5th place. And it does look like he's going for another lap, and he will get time to finish it. In terms of everybody else, we haven't seen Jimenez improve just yet. But he is doing some good sectors at the moment. 41.850 sector 1, 24.183 sector 2. So sector 3 could be important for Jimenez to secure his position. Ex-Jazzy new driver for this circuit, hasn't been out with us before. He's currently in 7th place with a 2:17.0. Going green sectors at the moment, so definitely a chance for him to improve. Yeah, Fenno was only down 0.1 after the first 2 sectors, lost it all at the hairpin. That hairpin is really, really tricky. As you might know, it is very, very difficult to get right. So, Jazzy, what can he do? 2 green sectors so far, as we see the clock ticking away. Can he improve? He can indeed. So, a 2:15.994 puts Jazzy in 5th place, taking that from his teammate Cabeza Speed, who I believe might still be on circuit, or might not be. We still have Danny 01 on circuit, but I'm not sure if he's got a lap on at the moment because the checkered flag has fallen and counting down about 15 seconds, so he might have seen the checkered flag already. Asite, same score, I believe. So that might be your results today. And what a qualifying session. Fenno is down in 4th. All the way down in 4th. And we know that he had the pace to go faster. He was up that 10th. Ivano is on a lap. So Ivano still has a chance to get out of 7th place and further up the grid. We are seeing Zmunkaski's behind. Carlos Fenno is behind Zmunkaski. So if Fenno can hook a lap together, as we know, he lost that time at the hairpin, as Shattered Horizons has pointed out. If Fenno can get that right, he can jump himself up the order. And again, the key talking point is Carlos Fenno, Adrian Jimenez. They are in the fight for the championship. There is not much between them at all. Carlos Fenno leading on 191 points with Jimenez on 174. Teams-wise, if Sadbomb's GSR don't win and Fuenlabrada do, there is a chance, a small chance that Fuenlabrada could take the team's championship here today. So, final part of the track. Ivan praying that he has done enough to jump himself up the order here. Currently in 7th place. Comes across the line right now on a 2:15.979. So that bumps him up a couple places into 5th. And we have nobody else improving. Carlos Fenno then, starting in 4th. Not something I would have expected coming into this, because he has been supreme at a lot of the circuits. But this is a whole different game. Confirmed results on your screen right now, though. So Adrian Jimenez with a stunning lap in pole position. Danny 01 for Cheetah Racing in 2nd. Asiite in 3rd for the Kamikaze team, with Carlos Fenno in a surprise 4th place for Sad Bombs GSR. Ivan O, Kamikaze Racing team in 6th. Jazzy, first time here with the League of It Virtual F1 in the World Touring Car Championship. He is in 6th, so very good performance. Cabeza Speed down in 7th. He was fighting for more a little bit earlier on. Teammate Disappointment in 8th. Disappointment 2nd time out with the Cheetah Racing team. Hazeti HD down in 9th. Again, that's also a surprise. We were expecting him to be a little higher up. And Smunkaski in 10th place for the HLZ Racing team. And then rounding out the field today is Baba Ganush in 11th place. Sadly, we don't have more drivers with us. We were expecting a larger field. There were a lot more drivers practicing, up to 15 of them. So, although there are 30 teams in this championship, there are a lot of drivers electing not to race at this circuit. It is a very difficult circuit, so it is no surprise that a few people didn't want the heartache, because there will be heartache at Macau. There is always heartache and drama. There is always trouble at Melco Hairpin, as you've seen in past years. It doesn't look like we've got permanent yellows there, so there will be racing at Melco Hairpin for the first time you've seen it for quite a while. So, we are going through to the intro. We'll be back in a couple of minutes for the formation to the race. We hope you stream, and thank you for joining us on Twitch.
don't you tell me what you think that I could be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my sulk into the masses, writing my poems for the few that looked at me, took to me, shook to me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the... Hey, you make me a believer, believer. Hey, you break me down and build me up, believer, believer. Pain, let the bullets fly, let them rain. My life, my love, my drive, it came from. Hey, you make me a believer, believer. Third things first, send a prayer to the ones up above. All the hate that you've heard has turned your spirit to a dove. Oh, ooh, your spirit up above. Oh, ooh. I was choking in the crowd, living my brain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings they would drown, but they never did. Ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke open and rained down. It rained down like. Hey, you make me a believer, believer. Hey, you break me down and build me up, believer, believer. Pain, let the bullets fly, let them rain. My life, my love, my drive, it came from. Hey, you make me a believer, believer. Last things last, by the grace of the fire and the flames. You're the face of the future veins. Oh, ooh, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh. But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke open and rained down. It rained down like. Hey, you make me a believer, believer. Hey, you break me down and build me up, believer, believer. Pain, let the bullets fly, let them rain. My life, my love, my drive, it came from. Hey, you make me a believer, believer.
Welcome back, viewers. Just a little video there to show the season so far. It really has been about Jimenez versus Feno. And right now we have a little bit of an upset in the qualifying session in that Feno wasn't able to get close to Adrian Jimenez's pace. There's your championship standings. It is very tight at the top. Wtcc will be hoping to help his teammate. However, he's a bit further down the order today, so there isn't much hope for Jimenez of that. But Jimenez might have this in the bag, taking the fight to Feno. But look a little further down, Danny01 and Fran Vinal. They are in a bit of a battle of their own. It is very tight between all of the drivers, having respective battles of their own. But Feno and Jimenez, that is where the story is. This is Macau, and there is always upset at Macau. So I'm very excited to see what happens today. I'm hoping for some fantastic racing. As you saw, we saw some fantastic racing at Nutstop, at Po. Road Atlanta was also fantastic. Plenty of overtaking there. But the Hondas at Road Atlanta were supreme. And despite the almighty pace of Feno and Jimenez, it looks like they're quite rapid today. So there's your track information on screen. We have the weather. We have the track map. It is fairly mild for Macau's usual soaring temperatures. at a 29 degrees track temperature and a 28 degrees air temperature. A lot of the time you would expect that to be a few degrees higher than that, so the drivers will be happy that the tyres may last a little bit longer. So we have 9 laps in the first race, 11 laps in the second race, because it is quite a long circuit. And if you'll notice, this is round 6 of 7. So this round and one more, this is why the championship is all important right now, because any mistake could gift a championship win to one of the drivers. As far as teams, it could still go either way. But Sad Bombs GSR Racing, they need a podium at the very least. They need to win if they're going to try and take the victory out of the hands of Full Labrada. Now, Fenno is the only Sad Bombs GSR Racing driver on the server at the moment. So Hazeti HD and Jimenez will both score points, so Full Labrada look to score strongly today again. Now, we're going to form the cars up on the grid for the first race of the day. Yes, Shattered Horizons, thank you for the comment on Twitch. Macau, this late in the season is going to throw a spanner in the works of someone's championship. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. I think any time in the championship, Macau is one of those tracks where it always throws a spanner in the works of something. Something always happens. There's always dramas. There's always difficulties. This is why at Melco Hairpin in real life, they now have a permanent caution zone, so you can't overtake there anymore. This is our Factor 2. We don't have that. We will see overtaking, and we will see drama. It's guaranteed. It's Macau. It is a fantastic circuit to be at. It's a really enjoyable circuit when you get it right, when you do laps like Jimenez and Fenno and everybody else. It is really, really enjoyable, and these drivers will be feeling no different, I am sure. However, they'll all be feeling very, very nervous away from this grid. We've seen street circuits before where one driver might get a bit brave towards the first corner in between the barriers, and that has caused carnage in the past. We're hoping not this time. So we have the cars on the grid. They will go around for their formation lap as they're setting off just now. But look at these Honda cars. Look at these Honda cars. We have a bunch of them all together. Now, as you'll note, it is a reverse order grid. So on your pole is Munkaski. Very happy to see him on pole. He's not been up there before, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he gets on with the faster cars coming through behind. In second place, we have Hazeti HD, Full Labrada. That's important for the team's championship. Third place is Cabeza Speed with teammate... Oh, sorry, it's a different teammate, X-Jazzy behind Team Honda. Ivano in fifth with disappointment in sixth. There's Danny's teammate. Carlos Fenno in seventh. Plenty of time to make up. Asieta in eighth, but Fenno does start ahead of Jimenez. Danny 01 between them in ninth and Jimenez down in 10th as the reverse order. Bobba Ganush in 11th. So, Fenno does have the advantage off the line. I'm not sure that was strategic, but I'm not going to rule it out either. I can't. At Macau, you just can't. So, Jimenez has to overtake more cars than Fenno to take the championship. Monkaski will be hoping that he can do everything in his power to keep the car pointing forward. We know that's been a challenge for a lot of the drivers at a lot of the tracks. So, this is going to be incredibly interesting as we come around towards the start line. Now, it is a very long formation lap, with the race laps and the pace being around about 2:14, 2:15. And you will see that from Jimenez and Fenno. They will be putting qualifying lap times in. We've seen that before. But that means your formation lap, when you've got to go slowly, you've got to warm the tyres, you've got to warm the brakes, you've got to look after the car. It could be 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes before they're sat on the grid and are ready to go again. So we'll take this moment just to appreciate the cars. Just to look at this gaggle of cars in a very weird order. Coming around to the start. And just let us know in the chat what you think is going to happen. Look at how narrow this is. That's real, is that? That is so narrow on the run down to Melco hairpin, which is why overtaking there has always been a problem. Not only is the hairpin extremely tight, it is tighter than Monaco, but it is also a very difficult run into the braking zone. And you'll see that there's a few cars a little bit further back. That's not what you want. As pole sitter, you kind of want to bunch the field up a bit. You don't want to be waiting too long on the pole, as Monkaski does have a bit of a run behind. And we will see as they come through the last few corners now. We're seeing them come around towards the start grid. And it's going to be very, very interesting, is this. I am very much looking forward to this. We don't usually have long while they are sat on the grid before the lights go out. So we are just lining up, getting ready to go. And we are seeing them all lined up on the grid. And away they go. So here we go then. First corner. Let's have no dramas here. And it looks like one car is around, but everybody else is away cleanly. So we are away for the first race of the day, lap 1 of 9. And look at Fenno. He's all the way up there already. It's Monkaski's already been overtaken. Jimenez is a little further back, and we're just seeing one of the Kamikaze team cars coming around. So Wtcc HD does have the advantage at the moment. Carlos Fenno in second already, and Carlos Fenno will be trying to get Wtcc HD out of the way for the race win here. Adrian Jimenez in 7th place has made up a couple places. Cabeza Speed in 4th place, looking at the back of Zmonkaski. And Zmonkaski trying to score some good points here today. Car's very squiggly at the moment, as we see Zmonkaski kiss the wall quite hard there. Hopefully there's no damage. And Zmonkaski isn't really being dropped by Wtcc HD. They are together on circuit. Zmonkaski doing a stellar job of trying to follow the car, brake where he brakes. But look in the distance, that blue car up ahead. Sad Bombs GSR Racing, that is Carlos Fenno. And Carlos Fenno is getting away. And here we see a braking. Zmonkaski gets very sideways. That holds Cabeza Speed up a little bit, but Cabeza Speed is ahead. And Zmonkaski does drop down the order before getting going again. So he's down in 9th place at the moment, just getting going. And he will try and stick with the rest of the field to keep going through the rest of the race. This is a fantastic start to the race. Nobody drastically in the wall. There is Carlos Fenno in 1st place now. We saw a green flag waving there. I'm not sure that there was anybody off circuit. It might have been a long yellow for the Zmonkaski incident. As we're seeing Carlos Fenno coming around the last part of the circuit now to complete the first lap. As we head down towards R. And Adrian Jimenez is closing the gap to Danny 01, coming around R, and now he'll have a long run. I'm not quite sure he's close enough to be in the tow of Danny 01, and Danny 01's not in the tow of anybody else either, but Jimenez does look like he's catching, so he might catch that tow. I don't think he's going to do it before the first braking zone though, so he's going to have a little show of his hand in the mirrors, get on the brakes, and here we go. Danny 01 lost a lot of speed in that flat right-hander. Maybe he wasn't flat. Maybe he wasn't flat through Hotel Mandarin. As we're seeing a bit more smoke from the cars in front. Danny 01 has lost quite a bit of space. But look at this ahead. The Full Labrada car trying to get past the next few cars as soon as possible. X-Jazzy is the next target for Jimenez. As Jimenez is just looking down the inside already. And he sends it. And there's contact. X-Jazzy's around, unfortunately, but Jimenez continues going. So, unfortunately, that wasn't a clean overtake, but Jimenez does make up another place. So now, 4th place from Adrian Jimenez, chasing down Cabeza Speed, who is up in 3rd place. Cabeza Speed will want to hold on to this, and Cabeza Speed's right on the back of Hasetti HD. Any sort of aggression could throw this wide open. Again, you saw Jimenez doesn't want to stay behind these cars very long. Cabeza Speed will want to be past Hasetti HD's. He's just having a cheeky little look in Hasetti HD's mirrors there, just trying to say, I'm here, I'm coming for you. But look at Jimenez. Jimenez has gained so quickly on the two of them as he's trying to go around the outside now as they come down towards the Melco hairpin. And on the brakes, no overtaking yet. There's a little bit of a push, but nothing untowards. And you see how difficult it will be to overtake there and why there's usually drama. Coming down towards the last section of the circuit now, they'll come through Fisherman's, this next fast right-hander, and down towards R to start another lap. But Fenno is off in the distance. He's a long, long way ahead now. 3 seconds plus. And that's not what Jimenez wants. Jimenez wants this championship badly, and we can see that this squabbling has allowed everybody else to catch up. Danny 01 is now right on the back of Jimenez. Aceite right behind with disappointment alongside Aceite now. This could be an overtake, but I'm not sure it's going to happen around the outside. I'm going to have to look in the background for this. Yep, that has happened. Aceite has lost a position to disappointment. Meanwhile, Hasetti HD is under attack. Under attack around the... Oh, they hit the wall. Contact. It's all drama behind. As Hasetti HD has made contact with Danny 01. Oh, Cabeza Speed, apologies. Cabeza Speed is all the way down. He's fallen all the way down to 8th place, unfortunately. Hasetti HD keeps 2nd place, however, but that allows Jimenez up into 2nd because Hasetti HD is going to allow his teammate through and say, go on, get on the charge, go get Carlos Fenno. And that is what Jimenez will be trying to do now. There's a large gap to close. It's a long way to Carlos Fenno ahead, but Hasetti HD still in 3rd place, still holding up Danny 01, and then Disappointment, and then Aceite, all here in with a chance. As we see a DNF now, unfortunately, from Zmunkaski. That is a shame with him starting on pole. And we're watching this battle unfold. Again, I did mention there would be drama. They had some drama already. Shattered Horizon said, I think we're going to see some of the front runners trying to push their way through early to get some clean air. Could cause issues. Exactly spot on. Called it right. You've seen that drama today. Hasetti HD once again into Melco hairpin. Everybody behind, getting through nice and cleanly. Nobody chancing it there just yet. Again, if these guys have seen any racing there, they know what's bound to happen there. So playing it sensible for now. But it is early days. We're only on lap 3 with Carlos Fenno leading the charge. Starting lap 4 right about now. We have a few cars ahead, all in that battle, but ex-Jazzy is going quickly right now. He is trying to catch up to the back of Aceite. Meanwhile, Cabeza Speed will be trying to catch ex-Jazzy, and Ivan O is not that much further behind the bunch. So we're going to have some pack racing here, and this will not stay as a line in tow for the entire race. You're seeing on your screen the little graphic battle for 5th. Disappointment and Aceite, as the gap looks a lot larger than it actually is. This part of the circuit is incredibly fast. We're approaching 266 kilometers an hour as we go onto the brakes and down around that first braking point of Hotel Lisboa. So we're just kissing the wall again from Aceite there. Looking at what the guys are doing ahead. Hasetti HD is doing quite well at the moment. We didn't see a perfect lap from him in qualifying, but he is doing quite well now. He's taking 218.240, so he's already beaten his... oh, sorry, apologies, that was Jimenez. So we're on 221 from Hasetti HD, 220 from Danny 01, and a 220 from Danny 01, 218, disappointment. So definitely got some gas in the tank here. Aceite again, 219.449. So this is a battle where the two cars behind at the back of the 4 are faster than the 2 in front. So they'll be wanting to close and get ahead. We're looking at the battle as Wtcc HD may have kissed the barrier there. That will make him quite slow. This is very, very tight. You're seeing the gaps on screen. There is nothing in it between these drivers. As we're seeing different lines around Donna Maria there. Again, each driver will have a different style. The cars will respond differently as we're lining up for a good exit out of Melco Hairpin. Wtcc HD looks like it's built a bit of space there, but it's not a lot. These cars will still be right behind in this fight. As we're seeing, Asite has just been overtaken by Wtcc, but only for a moment because Wtcc outbraked himself. Outbraked himself around Fisherman's as they're coming down towards R right now. Again, it is a funny corner name, but it is just called R. There is no other name for it. As they're coming across the lap now. Already we are on lap 6 out of the 9. There is not a lot of time to settle the score here. The battle for 4th is raging. And you're seeing on your screen right now, there are 3 wide. I believe we're not seeing the battle on screen. I can't see what's happening behind with the Honda cars. The battle for 2nd is still quite a way a bit. We're looking at Jimenez right now, trying to close the gap to Carlos Fenno, but Fenno is showing an odd gap on the live timing board, which is a little bit strange. On the screen, on the stream, I've got 10 seconds, which is almighty from Carlos Fenno, but on the live timing, it says a gap of 0.017, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. However, Jimenez has gone purple in Sector 1. Not long left now for Jimenez to really nail these laps and catch Carlos Fenno. Again, he needs to do this if he wants the championship. Carlos Fenno is still driver number 1 in the championship standings. Jimenez really needs to outscore Fenno here if he's going to stand a chance of taking victory at Abu Dhabi. Jimenez, yellow in Sector 2. He did kiss a wall. That could have cost him all the time he needed as we come down to Melco Hairpin. Look at how Jimenez takes this. Wide entry. Points the car nice and straight. Doesn't touch a wall. Wants to get the fastest exit he can. Now, looking a bit further back, you will have seen there has been change. There has been change. Danny 01 has gotten ahead of Wtcc HD. Disappointment is now on the back of Wtcc HD, chasing hard with Asite right in behind. However, Danny 01 has gone. He has left this battle and driven up the road. And he will hope to continue on to collect that podium position that he's been so desperately needing and deserving for so many rounds. And we're hoping that there's no more disaster for Danny 01 today. And we've seen disappointment, 2 yellow sectors, but look at the gap. Look at the gap to Wtcc HD. We saw Wtcc HD didn't do a perfect qualifying, and disappointment is now lining up to make a move on Wtcc HD. Now, fastest part of the circuit, and disappointment is right in the toe. Are we going to see a move here? Are we we definitely are. On the outside, disappointment has enough speed to get that job done. If he can get it stopped and hang it around the outside without touching the wall, that is move done around the outside, down through Hotel Lisboa. Disappointment is up into 4th place. Wtcc HD down into 5th. Next, Asite wants a bite of the pie. Wtcc HD is already losing ground behind disappointment. Doesn't want to risk too much. He wants to score some good points for the team, because don't forget, 2 cars is better than 1 car, and they need to continue outscoring GSR in order to win. So, Asite is who we're on board with at the moment. You can see the graphic there. The time hovering about 1.3, 1.4 at the moment, but Wtcc HD has been overtaken. He is in the toe at the moment. Once that toe is broken, Asite will be trying to close right up. Now, up ahead, Danny 01 is setting some fast times, 2:16.880, so disappointment might not catch unless he can beat those times. Adrian Jimenez, however, is only slightly faster than Carlos Fenno, and we're talking 200ths of a second. So it doesn't look likely that Fenno is going to get caught. However, the gap on the live timing seems to have shrunk ever so slightly. But look at the time on board. Has Asiete seems to have lost quite a chunk of time there. We were seeing it around 1.3, 1.4 seconds a moment ago. So Asiete might just be settling himself in for a 6th place finish. Respectable indeed, especially around a circuit like Macau where anything can go wrong. He did kiss the wall a little moment ago, so that will make him slower through this fastest part of the circuit. But Wtcc HD, he isn't really falling behind Disappointment. And that is quite a surprise because Disappointment did a fantastic time in qualifying, whereas Wtcc HD couldn't quite match it. But Wtcc HD is setting his best times at the moment, 2:19.3. Disappointment slightly faster on a 2:18.1. But again, with these straightaways, if you can catch a toe, that'll disappear in 2 or 3 seconds. The overspeed is so magnificent in these cars. We're on lap 7. Again, these are long laps. Carlos Fenno is hoping to hold this for the victory, for the championship. Adrian Jimenez is doing all he can to prevent that happening. As we're seeing now that Carlos Fenno's overtaking Bob Ganush in 9th place. So that will be passing a lapped car. And that will mean that Bob Ganush is currently between the two drivers. And it all depends how much these drivers get held up as to what happens to that gap. It is a little bit lower than the 10 seconds we saw earlier. And that gap might increase, it might fall down. But lap time wise, they're very similarly matched. We're not quite seeing 2:14s and 2:15s as we did in qualifying just yet, but you can bet your bottom dollar that we are going to see that. It is going to be qualifying laps. Once these two drivers realize that there is a chance for a battle to emerge, they will drop the hammer and we will see qualifying laps. Carlos Fenner so neat and tidy around Melco hairpin there, as we're seeing more flags waved, but I'm not sure why that would have been. Adrian Jimenez is past Bob Ganush now. They have a very clean track now for a long time to come. Last few laps emerging. This could mean that the championship for Fenno is still very much alive, and it could also mean that Sad Bombs GSR Racing are still in for the team's fight. They need this win. Fenno needs this win. And on Twitch, Shattered Horizons has just said Jimenez has caught Fenno 4 seconds in 1 lap. I'm guessing that was due to back markers. It's very difficult to get past at some of the places here. Jimenez definitely got through a lot faster. But there's no back markers to deal with now. The next back marker would be Ivan O, and he's a long way up the circuit. But, as we know, Jimenez, he did that 2:14 in qualifying. We're on lap 8 now, and we're not seeing faster times on the board just yet. As Fenno just taps the barrier there, that will slow him down. That will give an advantage to Jimenez. If Jimenez can keep it clean, then he can catch Fenno. We have a yellow in Sector 1. I'm not sure why that would be. We have only a few cars down there, so that could have been due to a battle. But we're not watching that. We're watching this battle for Carlos Fenno close up at the moment. So Ivano and Bob Ganush, they were a lap down. We saw Jimenez and Fenno had to struggle to get past, but that may have been your yellow flag. That may have been, with just hearing that it was Zmunkaski. I'm still not sure I'm saying that right. Zmunkaski may have caused that yellow flag. It may have been Bob Ganush. As we're seeing, oh, that is a slam into the barrier just there from Bob Ganush. Unfortunately, is a little bit further back than he would have liked. And Shattered Horizons, yes, you're right. Fenno is feeling the pressure. Jimenez is catching massively. Again, you did see 15 in the practice, and then in qualifying, he didn't get close to that. So that is going to be something that does close up. There's not long to do it now, though. He's got to do it quickly if he's going to do it at all. So, looking a little bit further down the field, we're on board with one of the Cheetah Racing cars looking at the back of a Phil Nebrada car. Now that can only be Disappointment and Wtcc HD. These two are still having a battle. Still trying to fend each other off. But earlier, Disappointment had gotten ahead of Hossetti HD, so that may have been the yellow flag that you saw in Sector 1, and it's not what Hossetti HD would have wanted. He would have wanted to race clean and overtake properly. However, give him 4th place, I'm sure he'd take it, as would I or you. Disappointment will be, however, slightly disappointed in that he didn't hold on to that, but there is still time. Over 2 minutes to go until these two cross the line, and they could still bring this down to the wire. However, Fenno and Jimenez, looks like Jimenez might have made a mistake there. He's a little further back now. The gap is now over 7 seconds. So Fenno really on with the charge as he really puts on the pressure. And that is disappointment. Does he get it stopped? He does. So ZTHD has dropped the place to disappointment again. At the same place that it happened last time, only this time disappointment was on the inside rather than the outside. And I do apologize for going quiet there as I was sneezing. Fantastic move. Same place, different order. Fantastic job from these two to have some really clean racing there. Will Hossetti HD have anything to say about it in the closing part of the race left? Just now, we are coming across to the tight and twisty section of the track now. That means Melco is coming soon. It is coming soon. I believe we're coming around by all at the moment. And then that means we've got a couple of right-handers up at police and Morris to do once to get through these twisty sections. And then Donna Maria is a chance where the longer wheelbase cars might catch up as we come through now. And then, of course, we will be coming up towards Melco hairpin where both drivers need to keep it clean. They need not to hit a barrier. They need not to hit an apex. Otherwise, they will be giving the advantage to the other car. And Asite still in the distance there as both cars come around. Hossetti HD closes up quite a lot in the braking zone there, but does tap the apex barrier on the way out. It did help to turn the car, so he may have actually got a good exit there. He does seem to be in the toe of disappointment, but will it matter as they come around Fisherman's? One corner left. They've got to traverse R, and then that will be it. That will be the start-finish straight. I don't know whether Hossetti is going to be able to close enough in the toe of disappointment, so disappointment might claim 4th place at his second time out with League of Virtual F1 in the World Touring Cars. And there we go. Your race winner confirmed is Carlos Fenno. This championship is well and truly alive, people. Jimenez, 2nd place, Danny 01 in 3rd. So a fantastic podium for all 3 drivers. What a fantastic race. And the Twitch chat is going nuts. Fenno feeling the pressure. Yeah, we know about that. Jimenez lost 4 seconds, made a mistake. We saw that. And can Danny catch Jimenez? No. Danny didn't catch Jimenez. To be honest, lap time wise, Danny 01 was about 3 or 4 tenths slower over each lap. So yeah, it's a difficult one because Jimenez and Fenno have really stepped up the game to fend each other off here. And Fenno, after a disappointing qualifying session, or maybe not, maybe strategic qualifying session, delivered the goods to keep Sad Bombs GSR Racing in with a team's championship shout. Now, obviously, as you've heard earlier on in the stream, Sad Bombs GSR Racing in 2nd place with the team championship and Fuenlabrada in 1st place. So let's have some official results on your screen. We have, when it pops up, there we go. Carlos Fenno, Sad Bombs GSR Racing in 1st place with Adrian Jimenez chasing him down for Fuenlabrada in 2nd. Danny 01 for the Cheetah Racing team in 3rd with teammate Disappointment in 4th. We have Hossetti HD for Fuenlabrada in 5th place. That's important for the team championship. Asite for Kamikaze in 6th with X Jazzy for Team Honda in 7th. Ivanov for Kamikaze in 8th with Boba Ganush in 9th. And Cabeza Speed, unfortunately, not finishing for Cheetah Racing team. And in 11th place, unfortunately, Munkaski did not finish either. So this team's battle is going to heat up. As you're seeing on your screen now, that Boba Ganush was 2 laps behind, whereas Zmangaski went off quite early out of the race. Cabeza Speed was much later on. I believe it was contact in the fighting group that caused that, unfortunately. But this is Macau. To only have two cars not finish a race is quite incredible indeed. So the cars will now go to a warm up to set the grid for race two. We're seeing the track map there. You're seeing the sector times lit up in orange, blue, and red. We're going to nip over to an ad and we will see you in just a minute. And welcome back to the stream today. What an exciting first race we have had. The drivers have done their final warm-up session of the day. We are going through into the second race very shortly. It is 11 laps this time around, so a much longer race to fight for that all-important podium position. The track is still the same temperature, but the air temperature has warmed ever so slightly. This is all to play for now. The championship is on fire as you're seeing the cars just lining up on the grid, getting ready to go through their formation lap. Here you go, the live championship standings. We have Carlos Fenno still making a gap to Adrian Jimenez. We've not updated Hazeti HD, Danny 01, or Fran Vinal. We're looking at the top two. Carlos Fenno on 218 points. Adrian Jimenez, 199. There is not much to play for in terms of what you're going to do. You have to be winning. You have to be in podium positions if you're going to stay in this fight. It is alive. If Carlos Fenno doesn't get a good result here, then Abu Dhabi is going to be a very difficult day. It is so tight, and you saw from Jimenez. Jimenez had a lot of opportunity to catch, and he capitalized all the way, but he did make a mistake. If he makes another mistake here today and doesn't score too well, then he will have a difficult day at Abu Dhabi, and it could just go the way of Carlos Fenno. Teams championship-wise, Sad Bombs GSR Racing did get the win they need, so they're still in with a shout for the teams championship. As we're just seeing the cars coming around the circuit, we're into the Titan Twisties now, and a lot of gaps forming. A lot of gaps forming. This is not what you'd ideally want coming around to the formation lap, but I do imagine they will slow it down towards the end, just so that they're not sat waiting on the grid for too long. So, tell us what you think, chat. Get involved. I mean, Chat Horizons obviously calling that Jimenez's mistake cost a lot of time, and Danny got into 2 seconds of Jimenez. If there is a larger mistake, then that could allow Jimenez to drop to third. But it would have to be an almighty mistake. It really would. Fenno, however, supreme in that first race. Absolutely supreme. And the racing behind, 4th down to 6th, was so close for so long. A couple of mistakes meant that the drivers did find themselves falling apart, but then they caught up again. Danny 01 and a few of the drivers really putting in some good times, but not quite the times of the top two. Whereas Hazeti HD really under pressure from a lot of drivers, actually. Disappointment having some fantastic racing. Ex-Jazzy would have been up there if not for the incident earlier on where he was spun around. So yeah, it's quite exciting. It's quite exciting. We're seeing the drivers get a little bit closer together now. They're getting just a little bit closer together. As we're just seeing them come across the fastest section of the race at the moment. And this is going to be all to play for. So you're seeing the cars line up on the grid. Bit of tyre warming a little further back. And your grid is looking much as the first race finished. Shattered Horizon says, I think Jimenez might get Fenno off the line here, then it's game on. It's game on, whatever happens. Whatever happens, it is game on. We're looking at Jimenez's car right there. He's got the inside for the first flat corners as they're away. It is the final race at Macau. Here we go then. We have Jimenez defending hard, trying not to make any contact. He doesn't want any drama. Fenno is sandwiched between the two Kamikaze team cars. They are coming down, all the way down to Hotel Lisboa, where the first braking zone is. Fast right-hand corner. They're all thinking about what's going to happen here. We have an NG recap car there in the background joining us. Patrix has managed to get on for second race, as we're seeing. A little bit of a look down the inside of Fenno there. Fenno would not have wanted that, but Jimenez is back down in fourth place. So something has happened there, or Jimenez has not wanted to get involved too much. Jimenez trying to fight his way past Fenno now. Fenno trying to fight his way past Ivan. Both Kamikaze team cars loving this at the moment, with the cheetah cars right in behind. Danny 01 and Disappointment. Jimenez and Fenno swap places very briefly, side by side. And there's contact. There's contact. It's disaster for Carlos Fenno and Adrian Jimenez. But both cars continue going. Jimenez seems to have more damage on his car. He has come off worse, but both cars are circulating in the same position. That's important for the championship, but that is not what the drivers wanted. So we have drama on lap 1 in Macau. Surprise, surprise. These guys will not let this go down to the wire. The Kamikaze team cars have taken the advantage and run away with it. It is Asihite in first place with Ivan in second. They've gained a gap over Carlos Fenno and Jimenez due to that contact, and Danny 01, Disappointment, and Cabeza Speed, the three cheater racing cars altogether, they're right in behind the two fastest drivers. We're looking on board car number 7 for the HLZ racing team. Car number 7 is Bobo Ganush. And now we're looking at Zmonkaski. I do apologize, I got the number wrong there. Zmonkaski just getting a little bit sideways, causing a yellow flag, but on his way nonetheless. I want to see more of the battle ahead because it is very, very tight. We have the Kamikaze racing teams for the first time I've seen them as Zmonkaski touches the barrier on the inside there. Does he have damage on that car? Not as much damage as Adrian Jimenez, however. Fenno taps the wall there, coming out of the corner. Jimenez is right in behind, so that is a definite tow across the line. Now, these corners are flat. These two drivers will not be lifting all the way down to Hotel Lisboa. Look at the Kamikaze cars. They're a long way ahead now, as these two have been squabbling for position. Jimenez is now ahead of Fenno. That is really important, but Fenno is in the tow. Jimenez defends. Fenno is forced to the outside. He's going to give a little bit of space, try and get the run on the exit. But look at the cheetah racing cars. They're right behind. Carlos Fenno. And Carlos Fenno might have to defend from Disappointment here. And I'm going to lose my voice if this keeps up. Jimenez is now getting away from Carlos Fenno. Does Fenno have damage, whereas Jimenez doesn't seem to? Jimenez has definitely got aero damage, but the car is going well. The Kamikaze team cars, Ivan first up on Jimenez's list of cars to overtake. Fenno has gained a little bit of time over the cheetah racing cars, but this is not settled yet. Look at the gap. The gap has just opened up between Jimenez and Fenno, but I am sure that will come down as we're coming around the tight and twisty sections. This really is game on. Shattered Horizons in the chat called this to a T. So we have Asihite leading from Ivan, from Jimenez, from Fenno, Disappointment, and then Danny 01. Hazeti HD has gotten past Cabeza Speed. Babu Ganush in 9th place. Munkaski, watching him here, rounding up top 10. And then we have Hazeti HD. We're on board with him now. Bit of clean air at the moment. All by himself, just wondering what he can do to catch Danny 01. We did see that battle raging on in the first race. It is a longer race this time around, however. X-Jazzy is... Oh, dear me. Hazeti HD got that very wrong. Almost into the barrier. We've seen that a lot of times here at Macau. Real world and sim racing. But down in 11th place, you have Patrix and Jazzy down in 12th. So I'm wondering if something has happened to Jazzy there. He was doing quite well in the first race. We're looking at Adrian Jimenez right now. Not far behind is Carlos Fenno, who you're on board with. This could be important. This could be where Jimenez overtakes for this all-important second place. He's looking at Ivan as they come through the fast right-hander. Next up is Hotel Lisboa. Large braking zone for an almost 90-degree corner. As we're looking on the inside, on the brakes, not quite enough this time for Jimenez. That might allow, as all the cars are tapping the barrier on the exit there. That's not good for the suspension. That's not good for your speed. As you can see, we're flat up the hill, all the way through on the run up to maternity, which will come after. Jimenez was having a look there as they come around maternity now, hitting the wall again. So Fenno is seeing Jimenez struggling to pass Ivan. And Fenno, meanwhile, is catching. Jimenez is having an almighty time to try and get past. Meanwhile, Aceite is gone. He's dropped the hammer off in the distance. Ivan is doing all he can to hold up the cars a little bit further behind as we come up through Payol, and we will now be on the run down to Police and then Moorish before the next overtaking opportunity, which will be Donna Maria, unless Ivan makes a mistake and allows Jimenez to come through on the outside. But no. Oh, it's well defended, and we see contact again. Jimenez isn't given any space from Ivan. Ivan is forced across the front of Jimenez, and that gives the all-important third place to Carlos Fenno. There he is, just ahead. We are... Oh, apologies, it's second place because the Kamikaze racing cars were 1 and 2. So, second place is Fenno, third place is Jimenez. This is on. Fenno ran away with it in race 1. This time, Aceite has run away with it a bit, but I don't see any problem for these guys catching as long as they don't come together again. As long as there's not too much squabbling, these guys will catch Aceite. As we see, Jimenez is right in the toe. Come around our corner. There is nothing between them. Nothing between them. You could not put a piece of paper there. As we see Jimenez lining up on the inside for second place. Not a problem because he's in the toe, but that now gives Carlos Fenno a chance to get in the toe, to tuck in, and look at this. Look at the Honda. Look at the Honda. Is that two of... No, there's contact. I was thinking the Honda would have got past both cars there, but no, there is contact. That is a disappointing result. I thought there was going to be a Honda in second place, but no, Jimenez makes contact, and that again allows Fenno to get through. It's contact that's holding Jimenez up here, and this is not what Jimenez wants. Jimenez wants this championship fight on. He wants to get this going. Unfortunately, it's not going his way as we're watching Patrix just a little bit further down the field now. As Minkaski has unfortunately got a DNF. Disappointment after that incident. Not able to get the car going again, so that is a DNF. That is unfortunate. But look at this. Nice and steady. Keep the car going. You might get a top 10 finish. Up ahead, though, it is so exciting. Jimenez and Fenno is going to be a battle that rages and rages throughout this race. But look at the gap to Aceite. Aceite might have this in the back. If he can keep putting in consistent lap times while these two squabble and make contact and make mistakes and put the pressure on, Aceite could have a race win here. And Fenno is doing all he can to try and break this gap, but Jimenez is not giving him room to breathe. Into the Melco hairpin now. Nice and gentle. Fenno takes a nice tight line, but does tap the barrier on the exit. Jimenez does not. Jimenez is seeing these mistakes. That will improve his mental state. Fenno is not getting away. Well, that will worsen his mental state. What is going to happen towards the end of the race? We're not even halfway yet. This is lap 4. We will be coming across the line shortly. Aceite might already be over. I'm not sure he is. Let me just check the light. He's not, so we're about to start lap 5. Coming around our corner. These two should be able to see Aceite ahead. We just see him as a little dot on the stream, but they'll see him a lot larger than that. Adrian Jimenez is in the toe. He's coming on Fenno. We are coming down towards Hotel Mandarin, and that is flat. I don't believe either car lifted there. Then it's Hotel Lisboa. Coming down, Adrian Jimenez has got the inside. My word, look at the Honda. That is Danny O1 up into second place. Like it was nothing. Jimenez gives Fenno the space. Both of them side by side still, allowing Danny O1 to just disappear up the road. That was incredible speed from the Cheetah racing car there. Past both cars like it was nothing. But these cars don't care. They're in a championship battle all of their own. Sad Bombs GSR have had the victory they needed to stay in the team's championship. Now it's about the drivers' championship. It doesn't matter if they win. It doesn't matter if they're battling for the final points place. They just need to finish better than the other driver. As we're looking, we've got live standings in the bottom right. That is how it would look if it finished as it was. Fenno on 238, Jimenez on 216, which means Abu Dhabi would be the decider, and it would be fireworks all the way through. And we're seeing fireworks now because Jimenez is falling back a little bit. Look at this. Danny O1's being caught by Fenno, and Jimenez is dropping back behind them both. Hossetti HD's had a little bit of an incident, so he's got some damage. We see that yellow flag come up on the screen just now. That might give an opportunity to Bobo Ganush to get into the top 5. We haven't seen that from Bobo Ganush yet. He had a good race last time out at Road Atlanta. But Ivan O is down in 7th now, unfortunately, after that incident we saw earlier on. But look at this. Fenno is in the slipstream of Danny O1. Adrian Jimenez doesn't seem to be quite close enough as they break to come around R. Now it's flat. All the way down to Hotel Lisboa. They'll come through Reservoir on the left here. And then it will be Hotel Mandarin, the next flat right-hander. Again, it is so fast down here. 266 kilometers an hour. Almightily fast. But Jimenez has got himself in the tow. And look at Danny O1. Danny O1's gone. The speed on that Honda is incredible. And this is Jimenez looking at Fenno. No third car to interfere this time. Fenno is going to know that he got around the outside last time. Is that going to happen this time? No, because Jimenez has got through. Jimenez is past Fenno. Fenno did look at the inside, thought better of it. Jimenez now chasing down Danny O1. Fenno has the work to do. But the live standings would change. Jimenez scoring more points is important for the championship because it would be even closer when we come to Abu Dhabi. Both drivers not touching the wall there, doing a good job to keep the car steady, keep it pointed in the right direction and not making mistakes. Until Carlos Fenno taps the wall there. That will cost him speed, and then Jimenez reciprocates by hitting the wall himself. Fenno was unusually on the brakes there. He might have made a mistake. That's cost him some time, as we're seeing this gap just open up. It's a second now between the drivers. This could be Fenno saying, okay, there's a lot of time to go. Lap 6 out of 11. We've got 5 laps to complete. I don't want to put it in the wall. And then he does that. Just that. He's smashed the wall rather hard. That gap's opened up to 2 seconds now. This could be all over for Fenno today. This could give Jimenez the chance to get chasing Danny O1. But I don't know if Danny O1 will be caught. That Honda is so fast down the straight that I don't think the Funabrada cars or the GSR Bombs Racing team have a chance to catch that Honda. I mean, you're seeing the Honda come past your screen now. Adrian Jimenez is right behind. They need to put in some fantastic laps to get a chance to catch that massively fast Honda as they come across to the fastest part of the corner again, coming around R, and then they will come across the line once again. Asiete, however, he's still miles out in front. Absolutely miles. 6.5 seconds, getting close to 7 seconds at times. Asiete might have this in the back. As long as he keeps it clean, he'll have this in the bag. So, Jimenez coming down the fastest part of the track. No braking there. And looking at Asiete in the distance, Danny O1 in the distance. Neither car can catch. There is a large gap now between second and third place. Even larger between third and fourth due to some mistakes from Carlos Fenno. Jimenez isn't making the same mistakes. He might not have a front bumper, he might not have a front splitter, but that is not stopping him chasing the cars ahead. And he will want to score as many points as he can in order to outscore Fenno, in order to take the fight to Fenno. So Ivan is looking at the back of Zmunkaski, who is still going at the moment. We have a battle on for 6th place. Both HLZ racing cars doing very well this time out at Macau. Ivano is very much in the tow, but not carrying much overspeed. That was a definite lift from Ivan. Not feeling brave enough to go flat around through Hotel Mandarin. Danny01 has made a mistake. There's been a yellow flag. I'm still showing him in 2nd place, but that will allow Jimenez to catch up. And Zmunkaski gets that wrong down at Hotel Lisboa, unfortunately. So Ivan is through into 6th place, and we see his teammate right behind there. And he carries on going, which is good to see. So, looking a little bit further down, we have Patrix, who's got himself into a top 10 position after missing the first race. Cabeza Speed is in 9th, a long way behind Baba Ganush. Zmunkaski is in 7th place. We have Ivan now chasing down his ZHD, but there is an almighty gap between the two. That might not happen. ZHD, however, having a stunning race in 6th place. He's on his own at the moment, but Fenno has dropped a lot of time to Adrian Jimenez, who is behind Danny01, who we're watching at the moment. Doesn't seem to have much damage on that car. Does see Asiete in the distance, and there is a chance for Danny01 to catch. We've seen the speed down the straight. If he can do that a couple more times, he can just take chunks out of Asiete's time, as we're seeing right now. Those cars look a lot closer in the distance. Jimenez has no answer for that. Fenno has no answer for that. Nobody has got an answer for how fast these Hondas are. As we're just looking down the way, down to the braking zone. Danny01 nice and neat around there, not using all of the track. He doesn't want to risk hitting the barriers. That would be quite race breaking if he hit the barriers and put himself out of the race. I mean, 2nd place is absolutely immense. Not to mention live timing. Danny01 has done the fastest lap of the race at 2:17.3, which is 4/10 faster than Jimenez, who is the 2nd fastest. So Asiete is under pressure here. Real pressure from Danny01 as Danny01 is chasing a victory. But Asiete wants this victory as well. However, if Danny01 catches and these two start squabbling, that brings Jimenez right onto the back of them. That's the only way Jimenez is catching right now. And if that happens quickly, then that gives Fenno a chance. If it doesn't happen quickly, maybe not. But Fenno is a way back. Jimenez is a little bit off the pace compared to Danny01 right now, but Asiete is still out in front with a healthy gap to Danny01. So Danny01 needs to put in lap after lap faster than Asiete if he's going to get a chance at taking anything away here. As I'm just looking a little bit further down my screen, Fenno and ZHD, I'm wondering if they're quite close on circuit now, because the gap does look very similar. But I'm wondering if that's the gap between each car rather than the gap to the leader. As it's interval, I'm not so sure. But Asiete is there in the distance, so it's 3.9 between Fenno and ZHD. That gap has fallen. That gap has fallen quite a bit, so maybe Fenno is struggling. Maybe he has damage, and he's struggling to do the lap times. I've experienced it before. You have damage and you struggle. Danny01, however, has no damage on his car. Asiete has no damage on his car. At least not yet. I don't want to jinx it, but this is Macau. Anything can happen, and anything that can happen will happen. We're hoping that this goes down to the wire and that both cars make it around cleanly without a scratch. That would be a first for Macau. But look at the gap. It is dropping. It is actually dropping. Danny01 smells blood. And he is coming like a cheetah. For the cheetah racing team, he is hunting prey and he wants to eat. Looking a little further back now. Jimenez seems to have 3rd place sewn up. I don't see him catching either car. We've started lap 9. As we're looking at a yellow flag in sector 2. I'm not sure who that would be. Yellow flag cleared, so that's good news. But these cars, we have another purple. Purple sector 1 from Danny 01. Look at this go. Absolutely flying around, dancing around the barriers, not hitting any of them. Nice and delicate on the brakes, on the throttle, keeping the car balanced, keeping it planted. Look at Asite. He's getting closer. He is getting closer to Asite every corner. But is it going to be enough? There's not long left now. Not long left. We'll soon be starting lap 10. We're about 2/3 of the way around this track now. Yellow in sector 2 from Danny. So not quite as fast as he could go. But sector 3's almighty. Absolutely almighty. We're going to see that gap fall at some point. It's extended a little bit now. Asite has room to breathe. But the speed of the Honda. You can see the Kamikaze racing car there. You can see the Cheetah does have him in his sights. Looking down the start-finish straight, that is not a gap that Asite wants to see. He wants to see a much, much larger gap than that. As we're just coming towards the final stage of this race now. We've started lap 10, an 11-lap race this. So here we go. If anything is going to happen, it needs to happen now. Patrix in the distance there. Just getting out of the way of the faster cars. Trying not to hold them up. Still going around. We have 2 DNFs. X-Jazzy no longer running. Neither is Disappointment. Patrix is a lap down. Cabeza's Speed isn't a lap down yet. But if these two keep going at the rate they're going, that might happen soon. Look at the pace from these two. We have another purple in sector 1. Danny 01 doing all he can to catch the Kamikaze Racing Team car. Jimenez and Fenno seem to have neutralized their attack. Happy with the points that they're scoring right now. Again, Abu Dhabi, the decider, that is going to be an insanely difficult race for both drivers with the championship as it is. We have not long left. We're coming across to the final stage of the race. Look at Asita there. He's not far ahead. But has Danny done enough to catch on this final lap? He needs time to line up and overtake. He can't just catch on the last corner and expect to get past on the start-finish straight. He's going to have to line this up. Here they come. The Melco hairpin, where dreams are made or broken. As they come across through the final part of the circuit, a couple of corners left to complete around Fisherman's, and then R, and then it's the start-finish straight to begin lap 11. That gap has fallen dramatically. 2.5 seconds now less. Can Danny do enough? I don't think. I'm not sure. I don't know whether Danny can do enough to catch 217.7. So it's a few tenths slower than his best. Asite, 218.4. There's about a second there, but Danny needs more than that. He needs more than a second if he's going to catch Asite, unless Asite makes a mistake. And at this point in time, I don't see that happening. I don't see Asite throwing it all away in this last lap. He knows he's got a chance to defend. So even if it means driving slower, Asite will do everything in his power to keep it out of the barriers, to prevent it from going sideways, just to make sure that he's got the chance to keep Danny behind. If he makes a mistake, then it's all over. Danny 01 is coming through and there'll be nothing he can do to stop it. The gap is just too small. However, further back behind, Patrix is coming down towards the first corner now, so it'll be a while before he finishes the race. But a fantastic effort from the Hyperion Esports driver. You know, missing a front bumper maybe, but he's got himself up into the top 10. I was seeing Boba Ganush just fighting with a barrier. that's an argument he's not going to win. And Asite now will be coming around the Titan Twisties, should be coming up towards Melkor anytime soon. As we're just watching Boba Ganush coming around the circuit. Cabeza Speed is not lapped. Ganushi is not lapped. So a definite slower pace than the last race. Either that or it's a faster pace from the guys behind. However, Daniel 1 is still not close enough to challenge for this race lead. And this might give it to Asite. I wonder whether we can get on board with Asite just as he comes across towards the finish line, because this will be monumental for the Kamikaze Racing team coming down to R, and then he will see that start finish line, the gantry, in his view, and he will celebrate with a little bit of a weave right and left. This is a victory for Asite. There is your race winner. Daniel 1 didn't do enough to catch the Kamikaze Racing team, and it's a complete chase around at Macau. We have a Kamikaze Racing car in the top spot, a Cheetah Racing car in the second spot, and then it's Adrian Jimenez coming across the line in fourth place, followed by Carlos Feno, which is crucial for the championship next time at Abu Dhabi. So that was absolutely fantastic racing there. Very difficult, lots of controversy. I would love to hear your thoughts in the chat on Twitch. And even more than that, I would love to hear the thoughts of Jimenez, Feno, Asite, and Daniel 1. So hopefully, if we can get them in the chat, we will catch them in just a moment. But first, once all the cars have crossed the line, I believe there may be a few cars still to finish. We'll be able to get some graphics on screen to confirm that victory. But what an exciting race. What an exciting race. It was fireworks between Feno and Jimenez. It all went wrong for both drivers multiple times, but both of them kept their footing. They kept their head together and did all they could to minimize the loss. And by doing that, points that Jimenez scored over Feno isn't enough to put him in the lead, but it is enough to close, but only slightly. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see an updated standings before the end of the race, but we'll hopefully try and get those for you while the interviews are happening, as we're just looking at the scenery of Macau. There are some beautiful places to visit in Macau, a lot of hotels there. It is a bit like the Vegas of the East. If you're into a bit of fun, Macau is definitely the place to go over there, and we're going to get your session results on the screen to confirm in just a moment that Asite is your race winner. Just waiting for those to pop up at the moment, as I believe all cars have crossed the line, all cars have finished. I still have the DNF from Disappointment and Jazzy, unfortunately. But here we go then. Asite, first place for the Kamikaze Racing team. We will be over the moon with that finish. We have Daniel 1 for Cheetah Racing. In second place, Adrian Jimenez. Unfortunately, not able to do more damage to Carlos Feno's championship fight, finishing in third with Feno right behind. Rossetti HD for the Fuenlabrada in fifth place. That's important for the team's championship. That might put the advantage to the Fuenlabrada cars. Ivan in sixth place for the Kamikaze Racing team. A good result for Ivan there. Munkaski, very good result in seventh. A lot higher up than we've seen him finish recently. Cabeza Speed in eighth place for the Cheetah Racing team, with Boba Ganush in ninth place. Patrix will be very happy with the 10th place for the Hyperion Racing team. And then your 11th place finisher, or 11th place classified at least, if we can flick to the next page, will be Disappointment, and classified in 12th will be X-Jazzy. Both of them not finishing the race. But yeah, with 12 cars running, it was a very exciting race. You don't usually expect it to be so exciting when there are so few cars, but Feno and Jimenez have made that first race so exciting. The first part of the second race so incredibly exciting. And then we have, of course, Daniel 1 doing all he can to chase Asite. So we're going to have a little ad break, and then we will try and get some drivers into the commentary box and try and get their views on the race. And Twitch, if you've got anything you want to ask, let us know in the chat box, and we will try and get those questions over. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in just a few moments. Welcome back to the stream. We're here for the post race show. We have a very exciting finish to that second race, a very exciting first race all the way through. But joining us, we have Asite making his way into the commentary booth at the moment. Um, and yeah, we have a lot to talk about because this is Asite's first win. First win with Liga Virtual F1 as well in over 90 races. So it's a very good job from Asite. And I'm hopefully going to try and catch Adrian Jimenez and Carlos Feno as well if they feel like joining me. But I believe Daniel One is going to be joining us after Asiite. So here we go. Asiite, thank you for joining us in the commentary booth. And congratulations.
Thank
First
you.
win in 90 races with League of Virtual F1.
Yeah, a lot. I don't know how many, but a lot.
It was fantastic. I mean, obviously, with the pace of Jimenez and Feno, I mean, were you expecting to have a chance?
No, because I think that Danny Feno and Adrian Jimenez were faster in this race, but in Macau, all can happen, you know. So I
Yeah,
was, I
I,
my start was very good, and also Ivan did a good job because he was stopping the other cars. I can gain a very important second, no, 5 6 seconds to, and was only to maintain the gap to the final.
we saw that, and we have said multiple times in Macau anything can happen and will happen. But Ivan and yourself made the very good start, and then the squabbling began behind with Jimenez and Feno. I mean, at what point, when all that squabbling started, were you starting to realize that you might have a chance at a victory?
I don't know because the start was good, but it was one of the my best start. But it's difficult, no, to say.
Yeah, it's difficult to stay out of the barriers as well. And I mean, during the period where Daniel one started to catch, that Honda was incredibly fast down the fastest parts of the circuit. I mean, did you ever worry about that? Because you were very clean and tidy throughout the latter part of the race. I mean, were you worried about anything at all?
Yeah, I was worried in the final because Danny was racing very fast, 1 second or two every lap. So if the race has 2 or 3 laps more, probably he win. He will win.
Yeah, but thankfully, I mean, you're on the top step. I'm sure you're very, very happy about that. But we're just watching the start through now. I mean, inside of the Bruno Brada car, outside of the Cheetah Racing car, and then you're away, and you've got no competition at all. You go defensive into the first turn, Hotel Lisboa, sensibly because it's Macau. Anyone can go for a dive. And then you sort of walk away with it nice and neatly after a little kiss on the barrier. Was it all smooth sailing from there until Daniel one started to catch, or were you constantly feeling the heat from the drivers behind?
The second because I was doing my best, trying to don't crash to the walls
Yeah, it's really hard here, isn't it? There's no runoff at all.
only.
It's a lot like Poe. I mean, how much did this race compare to Poe?
I think Pow is more difficult because the Pow has a lot of very fast corners, and in Macau we have the width is less, but you don't have very fast corners. And the Pow in Pow you have a lot of fast corners, and the chickens are very difficult. So I think that
Okay.
Macau is better for me.
Well, clearly, because I mean you're on the top step here, so very well done there. And going into the final race, Abu Dhabi. I mean, how are you feeling about that?
I don't know the circuit, so I have to practice.
And I'm guessing
So
there's gonna be a lot of
yeah,
practice.
I don't know because it's not Abu Dhabi, it's Dubai, is the other circuit. So it's the first time that I will be racing here. Other
Right, okay. So, strategies then. I mean, obviously, in terms of the team's championship, the Kamikaze Racing team is currently well, it was previously in 3rd place. The real battle would have been with the Cheetah Racing team. Going into this final race, is your mind more on fending off the Cheetah Racing team, or are you just going for points for the Drivers' Championship?
for the drivers championship because we are only two drivers now, right now. So it's difficult not to have a chance to the constructor championship.
Fair enough. Because in the Drivers' Championship, coming into this round, you were on 81 points, and up in 4th place, Danny01 was on 107. So that's a gap that could be closed. I mean, do you feel strong enough to close that gap for 4th place?
We'll see because maybe Danny could have a bad race, no, in Dubai. So I will try to pass Danny, but it will be difficult. A lot of points, but
Brilliant.
I
Well,
will
we
try.
wish you the best of luck. Thank you for joining us today, and
See you
good
next
luck
week.
in the next race, and congratulations on your first race victory.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Well, chat, there we go. Hearing from Asita, such an amazing thing to win for the first time after 90 races. But speaking of winning, the next chap in the waiting room has done a lot of winning. We have Carlos Fenner, if we can bring him into the commentary booth, and we will get a chat with the guy who's currently leading in the Drivers' Championship and, of course, wants to get his team there as well. So, Carlos Fenner, thank you for joining us.
Oh,
Uh, Hi there. So, obviously, first race victory, very well done there. I mean, how did the first race feel for you?
I felt, to be honest, I couldn't practice much, but I felt confident with the car and with the track. Sadly, I just broke the car at the middle of the race, and Adrian Jimenez was closing the gap between us. But finally, I could finish with a P1.
Yeah, we did see that Jimenez was catching, and I did wonder whether there was damage there. But I think Jimenez made a mistake, which eased the pressure a little bit. I'm sure that it didn't feel that way. But then coming into race two, there was a lot more drama. I mean, the battle between yourself and Jimenez really exploded, and that was raging. I mean, what was the game plan going into the race? Were you expecting to be sort of going fist to face so much?
To I didn't expect it to be fighting with Adrian. I thought he just would run away and will make a big gap between the first and the next group, who was will I guess I would be fighting with Asiete and many other drivers. But he made a mistake at the start. Probably with he misclutched, I think, and I could win two positions, I guess, and I was behind Aceite, and I was patiently behind him, and I guess was Ivan who made a too wide on the chart three,
Yeah.
and in the next corner he punted me, I guess, on the side of the turn four, and I lost the car. And then he was Adrian Jimenez behind him, and we collided, exciting the with exciting of the turn. Well,
Yeah,
it
I
was
saw that.
probably my fault, I guess, because I probably closed him too much. That's all what I want to say.
I don't know where we can put blame for that at the moment, and that probably isn't our job anyway. It did make for great racing, and it did give you an opportunity to get ahead of Jimenez again. I mean, we're just seeing that happen on the screen at the moment, actually. But one of the things that is really getting exciting at the moment is the Drivers' Championship and the Teams' Championship. Now, obviously, you didn't have much team help at this round. Will we see any of the Sad Bombs drivers at the next round?
Pablo Rodriguez will race the last one, but I don't know too much from Rinaldi. I don't have any information for him. And yeah, with the drivers' championship, is I think it's been closed like 3 points with him, and will be a side by side with Adrian Jimenez for the last race for sure.
Well,
But
yeah, that leads me into my final question because the drivers' championship is almightily close. I mean, I don't think I've seen a touring car championship that has been that close into the final round. So, game plan wise, I mean, will you be going for race wins or will you just be doing everything you can to make sure that you finish ahead of Jimenez, but in the safest way possible?
I will see in the next race. I mean, every race I'm going to win it. I'm not. I'm not. I never. Well, fuck. I never go for a race just for securing points unless I can win it. Uh, so we will see how is my pace in Dubai and how is his pace. I really hope it will be a close battle, and whoever wins this championship will be deserved.
Well, either way, I think that you've put on a fantastic performance this championship, and it has been an absolute pleasure to commentate on the racing. And good luck for the next round. I'm sure it will be very exciting. And thank you so much for the entertainment. And we'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
Well, chat, that's Carlos Feno. You've heard it here first. He is going for race victories more than he is going for just the points over Jimenez. This could be exciting. It could be an extremely tight race going into the final round. And now, next into the commentary box, I believe we're going to hear from Danny01. Um, Danny had a fantastic race in that second one, closing up on Asiete quite a lot, but didn't unfortunately manage to get close enough for an attack. And Danny01 is with us right now. Danny, first race probably didn't go as to plan as you were thinking, but that second race was fantastic. Just tell us how that felt, first of all.
Hello. Um, yeah, it was a very nice day. We did two podiums. I knew that I have good speed for today, and yeah, I have very nice speed. Uh, on the first race, I have a touch with Adrian Jimenez on the first lap, so I I have the car damaged, and on this circuit, on the straights, it's very important to don't have it damaged because we lost a lot of top speed. So on the first race, it was I was a little bit tilted because of it because uh, maybe I could overtake Adrian Jimenez on the last laps, but I couldn't. And yeah, on the second race, well, the start was horrible, like every race on this championship for me. But then I could overtake to a lot of drivers. Some of drivers, like my teammate Disappointment, he had some accident. But yeah, my overtake to Adrian Jimenez and Carlos Feno was really amazing. I think.
Well, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, you touched on the speed of the cars there as well. I mean, the Hondas seemed so fast compared to the rest of the cars coming down towards the first braking zone. I mean, were you expecting to have that much speed over the rest of the field?
Well, uh, I always think on on Fridays that I'm faster, but well, then Carlos Feno, Adrian Jimenez joined uh, the same Friday or even the Saturday morning, and they destroyed my time, my fastest laps. So I didn't know if this weekend it was going to be real or not. But yeah, on qualifying I have a good lap, but I think I could improve it still. But yeah, I think I was faster than Carlos Feno probably the first race in the last 2 years. So I'm very happy with it.
Well, it's definitely a lot to be happy about. I mean, to be fair though, the battles early on in that second race where Jimenez and Fano were having their own battles for position and championship points, and then from nowhere you'd be down the inside of both cars and ahead of them in Hotel Lisboa, the first braking point. So yeah, very well done to stick with them and to overtake both of them in one go going into the right handers, an achievement, say the least. I mean, how did that feel to just breeze past them?
Mm, obviously, very nice because I didn't have to spend too much time trying to overtake him. Just one corner to overtake. So I was just behind Aceite about 7 seconds, and I finally finished like between 1 and 2 seconds. Uh, about Aceite.
Well, speaking about that, I mean, you were catching Asiete at a good rate of pace. I mean, were there points in the race where you thought this could be a victory for you?
I when I overtake, I mean, when I overtake to Adrian Jimenez and Peno, I didn't thought about win the race because I saw on the first lap behind Aceite that I I didn't put so much time to him. So well, I just tried until the end, but it wasn't enough.
But it was very good work nonetheless. I mean, that gap really did come down, and Asiete did say that he was feeling the pressure from you towards the end. He was worried for his victory. But congratulations on the podium results. And thank you for the entertainment because it has been a thoroughly enjoyable circuit at Macau. But Abu Dhabi's next. How are you feeling about that?
Um, well, like Aceite said, uh, I I didn't try the circuit too much. I think I did like 1 or 2 laps before starting the championship. I never played a race here, so I don't know.
So, to be fair, that sounds the same across the board. So, a lot of you will be turning laps for the first time in the next week, no doubt. So, I wish you the best of luck, Daniel. One, thank you for joining us in the commentary box, and hopefully, we'll have just as exciting race next time around.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So, there we go. What an exciting day out in Macau for these drivers for the World Touring Car Championship in Liga Virtual F1. I have to say that the battles between Feno and Jimenez will continue at the next round, the final round of the championship. It will be decided at Abu Dhabi. But like Danny said, like Asiete said, they would not have expected to be winning, to be fighting for podium spots when Jimenez and Feno would normally be there. If there are mistakes, Daniel One, Asiete, Ivan, Cabeza Speed, Manete if he joins, they could all be up there for a shout and a chance at a podium. But if Feno or Jimenez get their own way, then it's going to be dominated by the two drivers duking it out for this championship. So we will be with you next week, Saturday morning, just a little before 11. We normally start the stream about 10 to, so if you join us then, we will be with you live for the coverage at the final round. We will see you then. Bye bye.